Guys, TikTok in the US could actually be saved, but the deadline is now officially only days away, and Trump just dropped news about it this morning. So this is the current situation. There's obviously a law that says that TikTok needs to cut ties with China or get banned in the US. The final deadline for this is officially September the 17th, so that's now 2 days away.
Tonight, we're looking at some TikToks that will make you rethink everything.
I cannot believe a doctor actually did this. A 44-year-old anaesthetist in Manchester was caught leaving his patient in the middle of an operation to go have sex with a nurse in another room. Bro really said he needed a comfort break. Those are the words he used when he asked a nurse to monitor his patient so he could leave.
Welcome back, family. Thank you to all the channel members for support. Tonight's selection of videos is going to be kind of like up to date. Like, there's some new news that drop about TikTok, some more things about Kirk, obviously. There's a story about someone actually getting a fatal disease from just being on an airplane. So y'all do not want to miss this episode, so make sure to watch till the end. As y'all know, like, subscribe, hype the video up so it gets pushed to more people, obviously. Let's go.
Good morning. Yeah, this was an exhaustive investigation. The Journal finding at least one flight attendant who says she was diagnosed with a traumatic brain injury because of toxic fumes. This morning, a new Wall Street Journal investigation says across airlines, the rate of flights with toxic fumes is accelerating, spiking in 2017, driven in large part by leaks on a particular Airbus jet, the A320.
That kind of raised that question. Well, what changed in 2017?
According to the Journal's review of internal documents, Airbus loosened maintenance rules following suspected fume events.
An aircraft would have an event, the issue wouldn't be dealt with and then be sent back into the skies regardless.
In a statement to ABC News, Airbus says its aircraft are designed and manufactured according to all relevant and applicable airworthiness requirements. The Journal says a neurologist has treated about a dozen pilots and more than 100 flight attendants for what has been described as brain injuries after alleged exposure to fumes on planes over the last 20 years.
Our union has been concerned about this for decades, and we've been concerned about it because of the very real life consequences that crew members have faced.
On most planes, air is pulled in from the outside through engines. So if any seals are worn or degraded, oils from lubricated bearings enter the air and vaporize heat, releasing unknown quantities of toxic compounds, according to the Wall Street Journal report. But not all smells or vapors are toxic. The FAA telling us they are rare. Quote, studies have shown cabin air is as good as or better than the air found in offices and homes, adding that airlines are required to report such fume events to them. Now, the airlines we spoke with say smoke, fumes, and odor events are exceedingly rare and that they take each one seriously. But clearly, as the Journal found here, there are real concerns here.
Sure we were talking about how sometimes when we're on a flight and you see it and you're told it's something else, and now you're wondering what exactly.
And now you're wondering, and that's the problem. We're left to wonder.
Guys, TikTok in the US could actually be saved, but the deadline is now officially only days away, and Trump just dropped news about it this morning. So this is the current situation. There's obviously a law that says that TikTok needs to cut ties with China or get banned in the US. The final deadline for this is officially September the 17th, so that's now 2 days away. Up until now, it looked like TikTok was about to be wiped off of every single American phone, but then Trump posted about it on Truth Social this morning. He said this morning in the post that, quote, a deal was reached to save a certain company that young people really wanted, and obviously we know what he's talking about. So according to US officials, a framework agreement was actually hammered out in Europe between America and China, and the Treasury Secretary even confirmed that the commercial terms are basically locked in. Nobody knows who the buyer is. Post rumors included Oracle and obviously other big investor groups, but this deal is completely new and still under wraps. By the way, even with all of this being said, China has still not officially confirmed any of this yet, so technically the whole thing could fall apart. Trump said himself that he will be speaking directly to President Xi on Friday, and that call might literally decide whether TikTok survives in America or not. Friday could quite literally be the make it or break it for TikTok, so if you want to stay updated, make sure you go ahead and add me now, and also go to my other platform.
Yeah, so the deadline for TikTok is coming up. It feels like every 6 months to a year, there's always this talk about TikTok getting banned, but apparently there was a deal made and there was no details that were given, so we're not even too sure what's gonna happen. Maybe we could see a complete different version of TikTok. Who knows?
Oh, scientists have made new discoveries in regards to people being able to hear other people's thoughts? Tell me more. Yeah, scientists have been making new discoveries about people being able to hear other people's thoughts. They believe that everyone was supposed to be able to have the ability to hear people's thoughts, but somewhere along the way, it dissipated, whether it was food or other chemicals or things of that nature that have blocked a part of the brain that would allow us to hear other people's thoughts without even speaking to them. Oh, goody. A lot of people can still do this today, most of which do have autism, and they're able to hear their parents' thoughts and other people's thoughts without them even speaking to them. So scientists are working on a way to actually get people to have this ability back, being able to turn this part of the brain back on and being able to listen to people without them speaking. Now, wouldn't that be so much fun?
Honestly, there was a part of me that was questioning the validity in what he just said, because he pretty much said that there's a part of our brain that's apparently shut down. And I remember this story that one of my friends told me. He said some of his friends were tripping on acid and they could hear each other's thoughts. Like, they could literally talk to each other from like the room, and they tested it and it was true. I was like, yo, what the hell?
So y'all really thought Cardi was out here playing with y'all, right? Because when I showed y'all she was in New York on the corner selling her CDs, y'all went crazy. Oh, she's just doing it for publicity stunt. So why is she on a train right now still trying to sell her CDs? And look at what her caption says. It says 7 more days until I find out that I lose my home. So she's literally out here hustling, trying to sell her CDs to any and everybody, because the age of trash music is over. We don't want to listen to this stuff anymore, y'all.
Good evening, everybody. Good evening, everybody. I'm out here trying to sell these CDs. I'm trying to change my life around. I used to be a professional ballerina, but trying to make a better example for my kids. If you could please buy my new album, Am I the Drama? Am I the Drama? 9.
And I guess this works now, because I guess the label is not pushing out her music anymore, so she's taking it to the streets, and people are really buying it because people know Cardi. And what's ironic is that Cardi said that she does not let her...
Did that woman really just give Cardi B money? Bro, this is literally prime example of why the rich get richer. She's on the train. Cardi B is a millionaire in a mansion. Why are you giving her money? And she just took it, no question. She just said, yeah, that's crazy.
Her children listen to her music, but why is she on the train on the corner selling her CDs to people like us? And you can tell she does not want to be out here doing this either.
Get me out of here.
See, she does not want to be here doing this. She doesn't want to be up in the subways with the rat selling her CDs for $9.99. You flip that, you get 666. So could this possibly be a humiliation ritual? Possibly. You guys know how the music industry is, but nonetheless, she's not going home until she sells her CDs. But the shift is here and everybody is feeling the squeeze. Let me know what you guys think about this video. Like, follow, and share for more videos like this. Let's continue to get it.
Dude, sometimes I feel like the whole content creation game, or even just like creating music, could be a humiliation ritual. I have some boys in the city, they be doing anything for views, dude. There's this one dude that I know. I mean, I don't know him personally, but I see his videos. He's a grown man literally twerking for views. Like, I feel like the whole game sometimes is just a humiliation ritual. And it's funny because the people that really do humiliate themselves to the max, like that, they really do end up blowing up because it just garners so much attention.
Wound coming into his neck right around where I'm indicating, and he tips backwards right after he's shot, and he brings his arms up, but actually when he's bringing his arms up, he's exhibiting what we call decorticate posturing, which means his spinal cord has been severed from his brain and it's no longer communicating with the rest of his body. So he was instantly rendered a quadriplegic. So that movement you see is actually just a reflexive movement by his nervous system trying to figure out what's going on. Then you see him tipping to the side and blood start gushing out of his wound on his neck, which to me means it's an artery that's hit, more likely than not, the carotid artery and the jugular vein. So he's hemorrhaging heavily out the side of his neck as he's falling to the ground. Now, this spinal cord being severed at this level could be below C5, C6. So he could still be breathing and still be alive for a period of time, which he was when he was rushed to the hospital and died. But the damage that was done was so severe, even if he had survived, he probably would have had a stroke and he would have been a quadriplegic.
What's that? Oh, scientists have discovered that black holes are singing a detectable tune? What do you mean? Scientists have been looking into black holes, and they've noticed with some of the technology they're using that it's coming off with a sound wave that sounds kind of like a ringing bell in a sense, but it's an actual tune they've been able to decipher using AI, and it's actually sending messages out to other beings. What? The scientists said that a black hole they've been studying specifically is sending out these sound waves, and that what the AI detected and gathered from what it's trying to send out to us in a form of somewhat like Morse code is saying, Earth is a fake realm. You're living fake lives, and you're living the same lives over and over on repeat. What? Let's just hope that the AI got this wrong on this one. Okay.
That means Interstellar, the movie. I don't know if you guys have ever seen Interstellar, the movie, one of the greatest movies of all time. If that's true, then Interstellar is 100% a documentary then.
If he truly died this way, then he died in one of the worst deaths imaginable. Viewer discretion is advised. Pictured here was 23-year-old Duncan McPherson. He was born in Saskatoon, Saskatchewan, Canada. He had dreams of becoming an NHL player. He was actually a first-round pick of the New York Islanders, but because of several injuries, he never actually made it to the NHL. In August of 1989, he would travel to the Stubai Alps, which is in Austria. He was actually intending to go to Scotland, but he passed through here on his way. He was expected to make it to Scotland on August 12th, but he never arrived. 6 weeks later, the car that he borrowed from a friend was found at the Stubai ski resort. So they spoke to the people at the resort, and they said that in fact was there. To them, it appeared that he was going to do some snowboarding before he continued his trip. But nobody knew where he was. He just vanished. So he was reported missing. And he would be missing for 14 years. In 2003, some people nearby saw a glove sticking out of a melting glacier. In the middle of that glacier, McPherson's remains. I can't show those images because, you know, TikTok. His arms had both been amputated. So were both his hands and both his legs. His body was quite literally in pieces. Now, apparently there is some science behind the fact that if a body is inside of like a glacier like this, I guess a body can separate. But based on the actual bones and where the injuries and fractures were, and this is also his snowboard that was found inside the glacier with him. And you can see that it has some severe like cutting on it. This is another image where you can see the damage to the snowboard. They also found his wallet, which in there they found cards with particular damage. It looked like the teeth of a tiller on a snow tilling machine. So these teeth right there. The machine that in question also has this on it. Very large machine with a lot of machinery and very large metal claw things. When experts looked at his bones, they determined that there was no way that his body had separated through the natural process of like it being stuck in a glacier like that. They said his bones were separated, could only be explained by machinery. So this is what they think happened. This is an image from the mountain he would have been snowboarding on. This is the tilling machine they would have used. They believe that Dustin somehow got injured on that mountain. They believe it was very foggy, and as he was lying on the ground waiting for help, the tilling machine ran over his body, tearing him to pieces. They said it would have peeled the skin off of his bones. It would have ripped his limbs off. These parts right here would have absolutely annihilated his body. Not only would he be crushed to death, but he's also dealing with the agony of having his skin peeled off of his body, his limbs being torn off. Now, one could only hope that if this was how he died, that he didn't experience it for too long.
Didn't I tell y'all when y'all see this face that I'm about to drop a truth bomb on you? Y'all, somebody set him up and his crew. This clip has gone viral. I know y'all seen it. Where he escaped an alleged black magic ritual. Like, what? Keep telling y'all we live in a spiritual war. Ephesians 6:12. I show Speed was like, nah, I see what's going on. I ain't having it.
Hi.
Hey.
How are you? I'm Zoe.
Hey, Zoe. Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you as well. We are going to give you a blessing on this tour.
That's what I need.
Zoe, bring it
Shut.
Mind taking your shoes off?
Hey.
Hello.
Hey.
Mama Donna.
Hey, Mama.
I'm not a handshaker. Bring it in, baby.
Yes.
Having a day. Good day.
Yes.
Welcome. Now is the time to have a little woosah.
Yes.
Just relax a little bit with me, and you're going to get a chakra reading.
Yes.
A balancing and a blessing. So you continue on this important journey. You're doing big things. You're doing big things.
I am.
So let's just get in alignment and send you off in a good way.
Let's do it.
All right?
Let's go.
We are sitting here. Right here. Uh-oh. All right, so, Speed.
Yes.
Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you as well.
How you doing?
Doing absolutely beautiful.
Right on. So, I am a Reiki master, end of life doula, intuitive, and we're going to get your chakras balanced. So, this is a special reading that I do where all you need to do, well, the first thing is just be open.
Be open.
I know we got a lot of people out there, peace, out there watching in this journey, and I know the messages that are going to be coming through for you are universal. Right? How do we stay calm? You're doing something really special and different. Hasn't been done before.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
You have a beautiful platform. You have a lot of people looking at you.
Spot on.
Absolutely. I'm going to admit that I did not know who you were.
It's okay.
Yeah, it is even better. But I love, from the little bit that I saw, because I try not to look too much, I love how you spread joy.
Thank you.
And that is something that's very, very important
Yes.
in the world that's going on today with
Yes.
the wars, the politics, and everything, that you're out here spreading joy.
Yeah.
You have a mission probably bigger than you know. As you grow and mature, you will know even more.
Yes.
So what I like to do, and I want you to get comfortable here. We're at the beautiful home of my dear friend Amanda, who's another amazing healer. She was wonderful enough to let us use her space here so we can get this done quickly. So here, I have a few things special. I work with crystals, and I work with a particular type of crystal, which is this one called the Andara. Actually, I'm going to give you a little one to hold. They come from very few regions of the world. These here are particularly from California, but I have also some from the motherland, from the Congo. And with these crystals, they do a lot of work for me and for you. The only thing you have to do is just to be open and say yes.
Okay.
And as we work together, as we co-create this experience, they will do the work that needs to be done on you. You just have to say yes.
All right.
Because, we have free will.
Okay.
Right?
Yes.
Have you ever had a reading before?
Yes. No, I haven't.
They gave you a surprise today, right?
Yeah, I'm kind of scared.
Do I look scary?
No, it's just like.
Okay, so that's the first.
Wait. I wasn't completely honest.
Okay. Talk to me.
You don't look scary, but nah, you kind of do.
Okay.
But not in a mean way.
Okay.
It's just
Is it intimidating?
a little bit.
Oh, it's okay.
Nah, you know, like your face doesn't look scary.
Right.
It's just like, nah, it's not. I wouldn't say scary. See, I'm kind of wearing this wrong.
That's okay.
I'm kind of wearing this wrong.
As they come, I don't take any offense. Oh, where's the camera? Take any offense.
Yeah. Okay.
Now,
Run.
I understand why they're having you do this. And from the little bit I saw today, I thought it was a good time to do it, right? So what you're gonna do, the only thing you have to do is pick a crystal, because each crystal here is related to a chakra. Do you know what the chakras are?
Yeah, like Naruto. Like your chakra, like Naruto.
The chakra. So chakra is the Sanskrit word for wheel. So we have these energetic wheels throughout our body. We have ones that walk with us, from the bottom that connects us to the cosmos. And then we also have ones below us that connect us to the earth. And then we have crown. This is what connects us to the divinity. We have the third eye. It's the truth, how we see it. All right? So when we have a third eye open, we're seeing the truth of the situations. When you hear they say it is what it is, that's the third eye. Not what we want it to be, not what we're conditioned, right? Then we have the throat. It's our expression. How do you express yourself? And the best we can do in this evolution of life is be the most authentic.
Wait, where's my?
Which is?
God damn it. Wait, I need this thing for my string. Hold on, I'll be right back, okay? I'll be right back. God damn, I left it out there. Yo, Harry. Harry, come here. I think I forgot my shit. It's at the... Hold on.
He about to clear it. He see what's happening. Smart man, if you ask me. You see it, right?
Well, we have to get back to this later. I got something else to do.
I cannot believe a doctor actually did this. A 44-year-old anaesthetist in Manchester was caught leaving his patient in the middle of an operation to go have sex with a nurse in another room. Bro really said he needed a comfort break. Those are the words he used when he asked a nurse to monitor his patient so he could leave. The patient had to be put to sleep for a gallbladder removal, which is a pretty serious operation. But as he and this anonymous nurse were having their comfort break in a nearby operating theater, yet another nurse walked in on them in a quote, compromising position. And when Dr. Comfort Break returned 8 minutes later to complete the surgery, thankfully the patient made it out fine. But to make this situation even worse, bro was a married man, because of course he was.
Now, as many of you may know, Charlie Kirk, a very popular political commentator, was a few days back. Police suspect the man who did it was a dude named Tyler Robinson, and they suspect this because the evidence against Tyler is pretty damn. But first things first, Charlie Kirk, when I say popular political commentator, I mean very popular. A lot of people consider him one of the reasons Donald Trump got elected. But to get to the top of the political commentary space, most of the time you have to be very divisive, which Charlie Kirk was. Now, I'm not going to get into the reasons of why Charlie Kirk was divisive or the things he said, because there's better videos that do that. But let's just say he pissed a lot of people off. One of those people being Tyler Robinson. How do I know that? Well, he said it himself. He said, yeah, Charlie Kirk pisses me off. He said this to a family member. He also mentioned the fact that he knew where Charlie Kirk was going to be the day he got the University of Utah, where Charlie Kirk was indeed by a rifle. Now that's important, because if you have a rifle, that means you're probably not super up close to somebody. You're probably really far. So police look through surveillance footage and they see video of a man on a roof. Now I know what you're thinking. I can't tell if that's even a man or not. And you're right. So police said, switch the camera. They got another angle. A man running on a roof, but where's he going though? Switch the angle. Hops off the roof, running towards the far side of campus. Switch the angle. And there she blows. The man from the video gets close enough to a camera to where they see his face. And well, the man looks like who they know to be Tyler Robinson. Tyler Robinson's family member said, is that Tyler Robinson? They go to Tyler Robinson. He says, well, in their words, he basically alluded to the fact that he did it. So the family calls a friend, the friend comes over, they all bring him to the station. Police look at Tyler, they look at the picture, they say, all right, put your hands behind your back. Give us your phone, let's see what you was texting. According to police, on Tyler's phone, he was texting a roommate saying, yo, I hid the rifle in a forest, go pick it up for me. They found a rifle in the forest. They also found a Discord message of him looking for a rifle. It's just not a good look. Now, as for why Tyler did it, not much is known, but it's suspected to be political. Because on one of Tyler's bullet casings, it read, hey fascists, exclamation mark, catch this, exclamation mark, which is a wild thing to write on a bullet. Now, Tyler also seemed very into meme culture because his other bullets read some wild things. One of them being, if you're reading this, you're gay, LMAO. Another read, notices bulge, ooh, what's this? Another read, Bella Chow. Who's Bella Chow? Somebody clear up who Bella Chow is for me. But he's writing this on bullets. Now, all that being said, I think one of the worst parts of this whole fiasco is the press conference afterwards, where the police and the FBI pull up and they just start flexing. Like, they're just like, oh yeah, shout out Charlie Kirk. But anyway, we went crazy on this investigation. Like, we did a really good job. They're saying how great the federal and the state governments are connected. They're shouting out Donald Trump. They're making it very political. When this whole thing started for that very same reason, it's like perpetuating the cycle.
So I have an Italian friend, and he pretty much told me, like, this was before the shooting. This was like 2 summers ago. I'm pretty sure the summer of 2024. So yeah, actually just last year. We were on our morning jog together, and I was like, yo, what does Bella Chow mean? And he was telling me it just means like he was saying bye to the girl, like bye girl, bye girl, bye girl. And it's actually supposed to be like a revolutionary song.
So this middle-aged dad is about to have an online affair with an 18-year-old girl. So the dad's name is Thomas, and Thomas is 46 when this story starts, living in New York. And Thomas, he's a regular guy. He works in a factory, he's married, has 2 kids. But Thomas also has a problem. He's really bored with this regular life he lives. Not only that, he's having problems in his marriage because he can no longer get a Woody. So I'm just saying, he's not doing well. But one day in 2005, all that changes. Because one of his co-workers at the factory, this guy, Brian is like, hey, there's this website where me and some of the other guys from work play poker together. You should come play with us. And Thomas is like, all right. So he starts playing online poker with his coworkers and other people in a little game room, I guess you'd call it. And in that room, he ends up meeting this girl, Jessie. But her username is Tall Hot Blonde. And so he starts messaging with her privately. And he's like, are you really tall and hot and blonde? And she sends him photos of herself. And here is an actual photo of her next to her mom. And here's another photo of her. And despite the fact that he's 28 years older than she is, and he's married, Thomas thinks Jessie is fine. And you know, Thomas, he doesn't want to tell her that he's some married middle-aged dad, so he starts lying to her. He's like, I'm 18 too, and I'm a Marine. In fact, his username is actually Marine Sniper. He was in the military in the past, but he's never really been a sniper. Regardless, Jessie thinks all that is kind of fine. And she's like, oh, do you have big shoulders? I like big shoulders. And Thomas is like, yeah, I do got big shoulders. And Thomas, he goes on to catfish her and create an entirely false version of himself, telling her he's a tall, tough, muscular Marine guy. And he sends her a picture of himself when he was young. And this is actually the picture, but he's not telling her that this picture is really from 30 years ago. And so Jessie believes him, and the two of them, they hit it off and they start flirting. Then they start sending spicy messages to one another, and soon enough, they're saying, I love you to each other. Now, when it comes to these two meeting up in real life, Thomas always makes excuses about why he can't meet up with her, like, sorry baby, I'm in the Marines. But they keep online dating, and eventually he gets way into this scheme, and he becomes addicted to talking to Jessie. He loves pretending to be a teenage war hero sniper. He even proposes to her online, and she says yes. Like, what? Anyway, some time passes, and we're now in 2006. And at this point, Thomas's wife, because remember, he's married, Thomas's wife is starting to notice that he spends a lot of time on the computer, and she starts getting suspicious, like, who are you talking to online? And he's like, oh, just the guys from work. And I guess she believes him, so he just keeps going. Now, he knows he can never actually meet up with Jessie because then she'll see that he's a middle-aged dad, and she'll know he's a fraud, and his catfish relationship will end. So he just keeps going, thinking, I'll have fun with this, and nothing bad will ever come from it. Until one day, a package is delivered to Thomas's house, and Thomas's wife opens it, and she finds a love letter from Jessie, complete with spicy photos and a red thong. Ew. And of course, Thomas's wife is shocked and disgusted. Not only is her husband having an affair, he's doing it with an 18-year-old girl. And on top of that, he's lying to her about who he is. This guy ain't no sniper. Now, Thomas's wife, she's mad, but she doesn't want to kick her husband out of the house. I mean, they have kids together. But she does want to break up his affair. So she writes a letter to Jessie saying, you know, the guy that you're writing is actually my husband and he's taken advantage of you. He's lying. And then she includes this photo of their family. And there is the real Thomas. He doesn't look like a Marine sniper at all, does he? So when Jessie gets this letter, she is shocked and she's hurt. Like, how could he do this to her? How could a person on the internet tell complete lies like this? Was none of what he told her true? She wants to know the truth, and she comes up with a plan of how to find out. She remembers the username of one of Thomas's coworkers that they used to play online poker with, that guy Brian that I mentioned. So she messages Brian, and she's like, is Thomas really 46 years old and married? And Brian's like, yeah. And, you know, he's a nice guy, so he feels bad for her, so he consoles her, and they keep talking. And they have quite a few conversations. And pretty soon, they become friends. And Brian, he's 22, so he's much closer to her age. And so soon enough, bam, they start flirting. And they start sending dirty messages to each other. And Brian starts to really like Jessie. However, what Brian doesn't know is that Jessie is still mad at Thomas for lying to her. And her entire plan is to use Brian to get back at him. And so Jessie manipulates Brian into messing with Thomas. Like Brian goes to work at the factory about how he catfished a girl on the internet claiming to be an 18-year-old sniper. And of course, Thomas is humiliated by this. Not only that, in the online game room on the poker site, Jessie and Brian are flirting right in front of him. And this pisses Thomas off real bad. Jessie was supposed to be his girl. So Thomas hits up Jessie and he's like, "What are you doing?" And Jessie's like, "Brian's close to my age and I love him." And to really rub it in his face, she reveals that she's been sending Brian spicy photos. And this is where Thomas finally just loses it. And he vows that he's gonna get rid of Brian for good. And so he gets his rifle and he shows up to the factory where they work. And as Brian is leaving the building and he gets in his truck, Thomas approaches him and he points his rifle at him and blam, blam, blam. He unalives him right there in his truck. Then Thomas goes to his wife and he begs her, "If the police ask, tell them that I was home all night." He's trying to create an alibi for himself. But wife is apparently still mad at him for cheating. And so she's like, "Nah." And she goes and she tells police, "Actually, officers, as a matter of fact, he wasn't home that night." And so, bam, they arrest Thomas. Here's his mugshot. Okay, but here's where the story gets really crazy. While police are interrogating Thomas about all this stuff that happened, they drop a bomb on him. They put a picture of Jessie in front of him. This picture. And Thomas is like, "Yeah, this is the girl I've been talking to online." And police are like, no, this is who you've been talking to online. Because it turns out that Jessie isn't Jessie at all. She was also a catfish. Thomas had never been talking to the real Jessie. He was talking to Jessie's mom the whole time, a 46-year-old mother and wife. The real Jessie, the real 18-year-old girl, had no idea that her mom was pretending to be her the whole time. Not only that, her mom had been secretly taking pictures of her, sometimes including things like pictures taken up Jessie's skirt, and she'd send them to creepy guys online that she had met, and she would pretend to be her own daughter and have like spicy conversations with those guys. How fucked up is that? So Thomas was catfishing her while she was also catfishing Thomas. Brian was actually the only one of them who was telling the truth. So anyway, Thomas, he takes a plea deal and he gets 20 years in prison, while Jessie's mom, she gets no prison time because, catfishing's not actually illegal.
That is an actual insane story, and the mom doing that to her own daughter is even crazier. Like, him faking his age to a 22, like to an 18-year-old is crazy, but the mom pretending to be the daughter while having naked pictures of her.
Nigerian chef has just attempted history by cooking the largest pot of jollof rice ever. But when it was time to be weighed, something unbelievable happened. Linda Bachi already holds the world record for the longest marathon cooking session ever. But over the weekend, she took things to the next level. She made a custom 23,000 liter pot, used a massive 4,000 kg of rice, which is the weight of a medium elephant or 2.5 cars. She used 612 kg of oil, don't tell America, 300 kg of onions, 164 kg of goat meat, and to cook it all, 1,200 kg of gas. But after a brutal 9 hours, when it finally came time to weigh this monster dish, as it was being lifted by this crane, one of the sides of the custom pot buckled and gave way to the supporting legs. Now, luckily, none of the food spilled, but ultimately, despite 2 attempts, it could not be weighed and the world record was not recognize. But don't worry, it was not for nothing. The food didn't go to waste. It was distributed in containers and fed to the crowds watching.
That's a lot of food. I mean, I would hope it doesn't go to waste. I wonder if you do the world record things like what she does, if she gets paid, because I'm like, dude, she probably spends so much money on all of that. Hopefully she makes like a bag for real.
Thoughts that'll make you think. How important do you have to be considered assassinated and not just murdered? How do you know you're not crazy and just hallucinating your whole life? How far up do bald people wash their face? How did the person who invented the calendar know what day it was? Why did we decide to give February just 28 days when other months have as many as 31? Why couldn't we just give them one of theirs? Do caterpillars know that they're going to be butterflies when they go into a cocoon? Or do they just go into a cocoon not knowing what will happen? When someone says something is new and improved, how can something be improved if it's new? And what are they improving? Where does a thought go when it's forgotten? Why do people say they slept like a baby through the night when babies are known for not sleeping? If you punch yourself and it hurts, are you weak or strong? If someone told you to be a leader and not a follower, wouldn't that make you a follower if you followed their advice? If the early bird gets the worm, why do good things come to those who wait? How do you grow a seedless fruit? If Cinderella's shoe fit perfectly, then how did it fall off? What was the first man to milk a cow trying to do? What if you suddenly woke up and your whole life was a dream and you woke up as a completely different person living in a completely different world? There's a certain point in everyone's life when how high can you count changes from a matter of knowledge to a matter of will. If you're watching a sunset, someone on the other side of the earth is watching the sun rise. Intentionally losing a game of rock, paper, scissors is just as hard as trying to win one. If two mind readers are reading each other's mind, whose mind are they reading? Who decided the alphabet in alphabetical order when the last added letter is J? If oranges are orange, why aren't limes called greens? Or even crazier, why aren't lemons called yellows? What does water taste like? Can you daydream at night? If you're in a competition by yourself, do you come in first place or last? Actions speak louder than words, but speaking is also an action. What came first, the plant or the seed? What came first, the chicken or the egg? If you get scared half to death twice, do you die? If you clean a vacuum, do you become a vacuum cleaner? Why are prisoners given food and water while homeless people aren't? The youngest picture of you is the oldest picture of you. When we yawn, do deaf people think we're screaming? If you were born deaf, what language do you think in? If two vegans are arguing and they don't like each other, is this still considered a beef? Is a group of squids called a squad? Why is it called taking a dump if you're leaving it? If Apple, iPhones, Apple made a car, would they still have windows in it? If you take a shower and you get out of the shower clean, how does your dry off towel become dirty? Why is the pizza box square if the pizza comes in a circle for triangular slices? Faded AF is faded AF backwards. How did the person who made the first clock know what time it was? Why is it called a building if it's already built? If people evolved from monkeys, why do we still have monkeys? Why do we get in a car but get on a bus? Do you think sand is called sand because it's in between the sea and land? Why is it called chili if it's hot? Why doesn't glue stick to the inside of a bottle? If you crash your car on purpose, is it still called an accident? What if oxygen is just killing us slowly and it takes about 75 to 100 years for it to actually work? 100 years ago, everyone owned a horse and only rich people owned cars. But now everyone owns cars and only rich people have horses. In 100 years, TikTok, Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, YouTube, Snapchat will all be filled with dead people. Your future self is watching you right now through memories. Look at a mirror. The only part of your reflection you can lick is your tongue. The best part of a cucumber is the worst part of a watermelon.
Thank you all for watching this here video.